Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tab Signature Transportation Group, and now Dad Water.
You got yourself a new sponsor, Jim. Talk to me. Talk to me about Dad Water. What is it?
So Dad Water is actually the basically co-partner of Mom Water. So Mom Water, as we all know, is very popular amongst the women.
Let's see.
So we unfortunately we had a representative at Papa Magoo's, and they are releasing a new product called Dad Water. Supposedly the product is supposed to be pretty amazing. It's a tequila type water, which is awesome. It's non-carbonated, so there's no carbonation in it, which is fantastic.
Good for the stomach.
I've had a swig or two, and it's pretty good, you know. So
Dad Water, no sugar, gluten-free, 100 calories per can. Tequila water, natural flavors. They've got Tom, Gary, Rodney, and Steve are the flavors.
Yes. So, and that's what I was getting at.
This is great.
Yeah, and then Mom Water is also a partner with them. So I was approached by them, and they, you know, we have our banners. I have our little poster things inside Papa Magoo's now. So she was in the bar and happened to see our poster and went online, followed us on social media, and saw that we have the followers that we have, and they want to get the product out there. So on top of that, she's going to be, you know, they're going to be part of, you know, the 45s, right? So, which is also a huge thing as well. So it's pretty cool. It was really cool to see, you know, a brand like her reach out and help us out. So I think it's only good, right? So
that's awesome. I'm pumped to hear about it.
We have a new sponsor, and Dad Water is a part of the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show.
I love it. That's fantastic. So thank those guys for me when they come back in the bar, Jim. That's really cool to have them on board, and we appreciate them a lot.
So we're going to have their little logo up in the right-hand corner. It's tough to see, but for tonight, that's the logo we're going with. You can see it pretty good right above your left shoulder there. But you know, we had some softball news this weekend in the GoPro Sports Dome. We had the Fat Kids win the 14-inch co-ed tournament this weekend. I don't know if you saw that, Donnie.
I did see that. I saw them post on Facebook. My guy Alex Chavez shared the post, so I was able to see that. So thanks, Alex, for doing that. But congrats to that. How did the tournament go in the dome?
My understanding, I think it went pretty well. You know, obviously the players love the fact that the bar's open now. You know, we live streamed the games as we were able to put them up on our page this weekend, which was really cool. I know it ran for like 7 hours. So we got to catch every single game live stream behind home plate, which was a great view. And then for those people sitting in the bar, they were able to sit in the bar and watch the games going on in the dome. So I think it was a win-win for everybody, as you could imagine. And but I wanted to say this: the Fat Kids get rid of the villain, and the first tournament after they get rid of the villain, they win it. So
the villain,
shout out to the villain.
Yeah, that's so. What time was the championship game played? Did you see it? It was like what, 3 or 4 a.m. What time was that
It
championship?
was rough. I think it was roughly around 4:30 in the morning.
That's crazy. Good for them for hanging
Yeah.
out. That's a late game.
Yep. So before we get into our show tonight, and I know we have a couple more updates about major
Yeah.
nationals and some of the things that are going on. Let's just say hi to some of the fans that are hopping on. We
Sure.
have a ton of people, Donnie, hopping on right now. I want to say hi to Mr. Captain himself, Rob Grazzano, Claudia Pinoda,
Mr. Captain.
Marty, Sean McGrady, Joe Nixon, PJ Rains, Nick Casano, Tommy Collette, Joel Anthony. So a bunch of people jumping on. Those are only names I could see right now, but we're up to 58 people watching us live, either on YouTube or on Facebook along with Twitch. So Richie Battistoni also giving us the finger. Welcome, Rich. Definitely appreciate it. TJ Flanagan, well, thank you for joining the show. Those are the only names I could see so far in the chat. So obviously, as we're talking tonight, guys, please put your input in. We're going to be doing a top reveal of the top preseason top 15, according to Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie. So can't be the captain if you're not there, Uncle Jimmy. But you know what? Tell Rob, take his tampon out, right, Cousin Donnie, and be a man and show up and represent your team. Right?
He'll be there. If I know Robbie, he'll always say that, right? He always says he's not showing up. He won't be there. He'll be there. He's not going to miss it. He loves going down there with you and hanging out with the guys. And Robbie will rock the C on the jersey, and I know for a fact he'll be there in Iowa for Marshalltown.
Oh, yeah, I agree. So, but either way, uniforms are getting ordered, so that's a good thing.
That's cool.
We'll get those shirts in here probably next week, and I'll get those things pressed. The only last thing I got to do is get the hats, so we should be ready to go for Iowa. Team Jagoff headed to Marshalltown, Iowa. So
that's exciting.
What I know you wanted to give a little news about the major nationals in regards to some of the teams that are coming.
So we got some pretty cool news. We're going to see Roof X as a part of our major national for next year, which is arguably, I know Resmondo came in. They're more of the powerhouse 12-inch team in terms of hitting home runs. And, once you see Roof X play, you're going to see finesse softball at the highest level. They are at a more successful season, I believe, than Resmondo in terms of tournaments. I know Resmondo won the big one at the end of the year. Roof X was very successful against Resmondo last year. It'll be great to see those guys fly around. The outfield, the infield, very, very good defensive team. And they've got guys that can go as big as anybody. So that's going to be an awesome thing for us to watch when we see Roof X play. Super pumped about that. So hopefully they can get the full team out there, as they're going to give anybody a tough game in major nationals 100%. So that's really exciting.
So I spoke with Spencer middle of last week, and via text this time, and basically he said that he will 100% have a team there.
Love it.
He planning on coming, obviously barring any injuries, but I think that'll be an awesome ad for nationals. I did reach out to the Psychopaths, and I did reach out to the Faux Show team from California. So the Psychopaths are still kicking the idea around. I know Nick from Faux Show, who runs that team. He had told me about a year ago that they were 100% coming to the 2025 major nationals, but I have not spoke to him in the last, just call it 3 months. So I don't know if that's still accurate or not, but either way, adding Roof X to the mix for the 2025 major nationals will make up, because from what I understand, Circus is not going to be attending the major nationals this year. So at least I know we lose a great team, but we're also going to add a good team. So it'll make things that much more interesting, as we always like to do. So anything else, Donnie, before we get into our top 15 for the year?
Yeah. Sam Rogers says place is a dump in referring to Marshalltown, Iowa. I hope he's not, because that Old Timer Tavern is a great time. And then he says, credit to you guys. Great job, fellas, in terms of trying to spread the word about the game. right? We had Resmondo there. We were a huge part in exposing them to the game. Now bringing in a team like Rufex only does better for the game as well. So I'm excited about it. Truthfully, I mean, it's gonna be so good for the sport. And we always talk about trying to grow the game and how can we do it. This is another huge step for us in the game of ball. I hope everybody kind of understands the severity and importance of it, because those are two of the most premier programs in softball, not just 16-inch, but in the United States in softball. So that's how you do it. That's how you spread the word, and that's how you expose the game. Also, we had the Hall of Fame announcement. The ballots are out for the Hall of Fame. So if you want to go vote on who you think should be a member of the Hall of Fame, who should get in. I know we've got a couple repeat names from last year and guys we had on the show when we did our Hall of Fame show. So we'll try and talk to some of those guys again about their nominations and how grateful they are, and we'll talk about who are you voting for, and if you guys have in the comments about anything Hall of Fame related or any questions, give us a shout. We're going to be here for a minute, so let's tip our cap to those guys.
Absolutely, and I think you mentioned we had a majority of those guys on the show last year. I think it's only right we give some of those guys some face time for those individuals that maybe weren't on the show last year that are new to the ballot this year. And, throw an invite out to the guys that were on the show last year that would want to come back. And we want to do that the week probably of April 2nd or 3rd there. We know the ballots close April 10th. If we can get them on the show, we'll be reaching out to them over the course of the next week to join us the week of April. I think April 1st actually is a Monday. So that week we'll either do it that Tuesday or Wednesday, our schedule, depending on what our schedule looks like. So I do want to get to the chat before we get to our top 20, top 15. Justin Ryan has joined the chat. Welcome, Justin. Hopefully Justin's going to be able to play with Team Jagoff in Iowa this year. We'd definitely love to have him. Bobby Russ, another gentleman with Will Russ that we were going to ask to join Team Jagoff this year in Iowa. So Ryan's on. Welcome to the feed. Enrique, Glenn Quinn, Dustin Warner, Adam Cumby, a bunch of people jumping on here. PJ Range is jumping on about 15 different times. Glenn Quinn III. So welcome to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show. Donnie, why don't we get right into our top 15 here? And what we're putting out basically is we believe in our preseason top 15 best teams in softball. We're going to talk a little bit about each team. So, Donnie, you tell me who's your number 15.
I'll tell you what, before I tell you this, Jim, I wrote down all the teams multiple different times. And I still have pages that I ripped out and threw away with different team names over and over again because I couldn't figure out where I wanted to put everybody. Okay?
Wow.
Number 15, for me, I have BTA at number 15. Kind of a disappointing finish to their season. To go 0-2 at No Gloves, but I know they're capable of doing some really good things. Tough team to play. Oh, PJ said he's not constantly jumping on and off. It's just popping up random names like 100 times. Well, we got a lot of people watching. Thanks, Peach, for telling me that. I appreciate that. BTA at 15, like I said, dangerous team at any time. Still got Wes. Still have a good infield, outfield. So a good team, just a little bit down from last year after No Gloves and maybe their off season. But they did pick up Little Dave, if you didn't know that.
Yes. So I actually started off with an honorable mention.
Okay.
So I have three teams in my honorable mention.
I
have Stover from Iowa.
Okay.
I have 3038s, who's a team that I feel would probably be in my top 15 if they actually played more. I think they have probably one of the best players in softball on their team. A kid that we always joke around about him jumping team to team. But at the same time, I think if they played more, they would easily be in the top 15. And then my last team is I don't know what they're calling themselves this year. They went into the year, from what I heard, being called Players Inc. Now they're being Impact. I heard
Impact. Yep.
they broke up. They're back. So Impact also with an honorable mention.
They are Impact. I love the honorable mention at Dirty 38s. I also want to give an honorable mention to Dynasty. 38's Dynasty, Impact, right there.
Yep.
Those three honorable mentions. They could crack the top 15 at any point, but
Yep.
for right now, for argument's sake, they are not.
Yeah. And so my top 15 team, starting at number 15, is the Fat Kids. Okay. I think coming off winning the A Nationals last year, picking up some young kids. I think there's going to be a lot of kids on that team that's going to be unknown at the major level. They're going to take some lumps, but also they're going to give some lumps in regards to being able to hang with some of the top teams in softball. They have a veteran pitcher in Angelo. They have Noach, who's been obviously on some of the bigger teams in his day. And so I think Fat Kids at number 15 is going to be a team that, I think is going to be right there on the inside or outside of that number all year long. And I think they're going to take their lumps, but at the same time, I also think they're going to compete all year long. And they're not afraid. It's awesome. And I know Angelo and those guys are trying to build the team, and I definitely appreciate them for stepping up to play, as we call it, with the big boys.
Agreed. Good job. Good foot there.
Number 14 for me, I went with Whale. I went with Whale. I know that they picked up Bo Filkins, who's definitely going to help them if he shows up. I think, with having Jackson Perry, one of the best hitters, in my opinion, in softball on that team, at least power hitters, that is, in softball on that team. They got Chris Rieger. They got some dudes. And I think that they're also making a jump up to play with the major level. I think that's going to be a big step for them this year. And they're also going to be similar to the Fat Kids. I think they're going to take some lumps. But when they have their full squad, I also think they're going to be able to beat anybody in softball, which is, there's not many teams that can say that. So
I agree. You named a lot of their good players. Got to give credit to their outfield as well, with Brian Barzowski and Jake Lenti and Eddie Barzowski on the other side. So good outfield, fast outfield. I have Whale at 14 as well. So you hit the nail on the head with the Whale call. It is going to be an adjustment going from A to major. It always is. We saw that last year with teams like Demons where they were forced to play major. But Whale at 14 seems fair, already cracking the top 15 as a PJ just sent me another photo. It says Bobby Russ is watching like 200 times. So, Bobby, thanks for the support. We appreciate it. But Whale at 14 for me as well. I'll move into my number 13. 13 for me is going to be Hall of Fame concessions. And that's because we take this team at a grand scheme of things, right? They're going to play in some no glove tournaments. We'll see how they compete at the no glove game. Because last year, they knocked us out of major nationals with glove, played fantastic, down to the wire, very good softball team. Interested to see how they play at the no glove level, at no gloves, and wherever they're coming down. I like those guys a lot. I've got a lot of faith in that team to grow on this list. They're not going to stay at 13. They're only going to get better. So, and they didn't add anybody new. They didn't lose anybody. So same team as last year.
I'm just going to really quickly say our boy Staples has just joined the show. Mr. Staples himself.
So, your guy.
For 13 for me, I also, it's funny you say that. And by the way, we did not compare lists.
No.
I have no idea who.
I made 10. I made 10 lists. I made 10 of them.
I have no idea who Donnie's top 15 is, but it's funny. I do have Hall of Fame Iowa at number 13. I think they're a team that's scrappy. I think that they're a team that's going to be always the team that's going to be right there, especially with the gloves. Without the glove, they struggle a little bit, I feel, without the glove. But, I feel that they have improved without the glove over the last couple of years. So if they do finally get a full squad down for the north-south that they usually come to, and I know they usually come shorthanded, I could see them, doing some damage in the north-south. And quite frankly, I think they've been made it to Sunday or late Saturday night in the last several years in Forest Park. So, usually that's a top 16 finish. So, in my opinion, I don't see it coming in at 13. They're another
Yep.
year experience. Our
Yep.
boy Sam Rogers, I'm
That's our
sure,
guy.
he
That's our
quit
guy.
drinking now, so maybe he'll start getting some hits.
He said he's coming off the bench this year.
Yeah.
I don't believe it for a second. He's a good player.
So that leads me into my number 12, and my number 12 is High Y.
Wow.
I know that High Y has, huh?
That's okay. That's a big claim.
Yeah, I think High Y, yes, they've lost a couple players, but they still have that core. And picking up the villain, I think the villain's going to help them more than he hurts them. Just from a standpoint of he does get his hits. Say what you want.
He hits.
Can he do it at the major level? I don't know yet, but he does get his hits at the A level from what I've seen. Right. So, and take the villain out of it. I mean, they still have Trev. They still have some Trey. They still have some good players on that team, and they've had success. I know they lost Little Dave. I know they lost, I believe,
Chris Rogers. They lost Chris Rogers and JB, who we don't know if he's going to be able to play this year, but still a good player when he's on the field.
Yep. So I think High Y, they have still a lot of talent on that squad. And I could ease, they're going to be in the top 10, I think, before the year's end.
Yep.
I'm sure they picked up some new players, right? We don't know the players maybe they picked up. They've been a little hush-hush about it outside of Jason. Who knows who they got out of Washington Park. There's a million teams out there and a million talented kids. I'm sure they've got their eye on somebody that's going to step up this year for that team. So to put them any lower than 12, I think is an insult for those guys.
Okay. Yeah. No, 12 for me. I do have Chucks at 12.
Okay.
Not a great year for Chucks last year. I'm sure everybody on that team will say disappointing year. They did pick up another outfielder to start and lead off. Levi, who is a stud, who will be a great addition for them. So that does propel them above the other Iowa team in Hall of Fame. I know that could cause some controversy, but that's where it is right now. Chuck's at 12, just super talented across the board. I want to see them be healthy, and I want to see them play without the glove. I'm going to hold that against both teams. Everybody on each team could beat me up, so I have to be nice. So Chucks, you guys are great, but I want to see them play without the glove, and I know once they get healthy, they're going to be dangerous. And just being able to keep up with teams defensively, I know they'll keep up offensively, keeping up defensively as well. I'll roll into my number 11. I've got Meatball City at number 11. Did lose Mikey Marola and then picked up Drew Chavaria, which is a nice pickup. Also, sneaky pick in the offseason, Bino. Did you know that Bino is going to play with Meatball City this year? He's going to be a nice middle of the lineup guy for Meatball City. I know Joel's probably watching the show right now, but I love them just outside the top 10 with where we've got the teams in the top 10. They'll compete with anybody, though. Scary team. Can't take them lightly. 11 seems like a good spot for my guys at NBC.
So before I get to my 11 and 10, I actually have a 10B and 11, but either way, I want to – Dave Padilla, our boy Staples, he says a big team is coming to the Spring Fling in Newcastle Park. Who knows who he's talking about? He's
who is that?
Probably Slap and Tickle, the same team that's been in the tournament for the last God knows how long, right?
Staples, please inform us. Who is the big team coming to the Spring Fling in Newcastle Park?
Yeah, so we also have Mr. Steve Burke. He said, did you say Goodwood? Goodwood would be in the honorable mention category.
Yes, agreed, 100%. They are in the honorable mention category. With them being probably the best A team this year, would like to see them jump up, and we can see them in some major tournaments.
And I also want to say hello to Jim Macy joining us from New Orleans. Definitely appreciate the support. People joining us from all over. We also have a 12-inch team from California, Chris Rieger, coming to the Spring Fling. That's what he said. So if that's the case, God bless. That's awesome. I hope it's true. But either way, let me get into number 11 for me. Number 11 for me is Iron. I think Iron is a team that kind of took that leap last year. They got a bunch of young kids. I think those young kids are now starting to grow. I think CJ obviously is now turning into more of a veteran pitcher. You have Spencer, the outfielder Spencer, who they picked up. Yep, who they picked up for Iron as well. He's going to help. I believe Marco's there full time. He's going to help.
Yep.
So I could see Iron right outside the top 10 all year long. And let's face it, Iron had some big runs last year in tournaments. So they got a little experience last year. I know they've knocked out some teams. I think I want to say they took second in the glove tournament in Melrose Park, if I believe. I believe they lost to
45s,
I believe. So they're getting their feet wet for sure. So I like Iron. I think Iron's going to be a sneaky, young, good team. And they kind of made a name for themselves last year a little bit. So I could see them definitely taking that next leap. I have a 10B and a 10. The reason why is because I felt like both these teams are very comparable to each other. And that's my 10B is Meatball City.
Okay.
So I know you said a lot of good things about Meatball City, the Whiz brothers, on that squad. I think it comes down to with Meatball. You mentioned Bino, who's a great hitter that they picked up. They picked up Drew Severia. They got some sneaky good players on that team. Yes, they lost Marola, but the other outfielder they picked up is tremendous. He's a good young player.
Matt Johnson.
Yes, I think that Meatball could be a team that is right outside that top 10 all year long and is going to have some top 5 finishes. I mean, let's face it, they won the first tournament of the year last year, and people forget about it.
They did. So, they did. They won Matty Dozen's tournament at Tinley Park. They sure did.
I think truly they got better this year. With their pickups, they got better.
I could see that. Also, I want to see those guys play, right? They play in Melrose, but they're in every tournament. I want to see those guys all play together. I want to see the role players step up and get their time. And they added Brandon Alvarado as well, who's going to be one of those role players to see if he can fill in and get some big hits for that team. John Doss on the mound for Meatball City. We'll see how he does. He can play a couple positions as well if someone else needs to slide in and pitch. So it'll be an interesting, versatile team.
Yeah, and they got rid of Joey Carbs, so that's a good thing, right?
That's a huge hit. That's a hit.
Yeah. So get rid of the handsomeness on the sidelines. Maybe now the players on Meatball can play.
Now they'll focus.
Right. So moving into my 10, since my 10B, my 10 is Pharaohs. And I think Pharaohs, to me, is going to be a team that is going to be, I feel, that next step. I felt last year they were kind of, so-so. They played some good games. They played some bad games. I think they're going to be more consistent this year. I also think that they have some nice pickups, You got a smirk on your face. What are you laughing at there?
Yeah, Casey Chavez said, isn't this a glizzy review show, meaning hot dog review show? Now we're talking about softball, which is a very funny comment. Joe Carb said Meatball is going to surprise some people this year. David Padilla said, I'd like to say thank you for promoting the games. Dave, I still don't know the name of your team that is coming over to Spring Fling. I would like to know. Jimmy, keep going.
Yeah, so the Pharaohs, as I mentioned, I think is going to be a team that, I feel could take that next leap. They picked up some good players this offseason. I know some of the guys went to the Pharaohs. I believe Rogers went there.
Yep, and JB.
JB went there.
Yeah.
So I think that they had some nice young kids. The left fielder on Pharaohs is a talented player. I'm not too sure on his name.
That's James Hobson. Jimmy Hobson.
So, all around, I think they're going to be right there, and I think they're going to take that leap now. I would say they'd probably be right outside the top 15 last year, and now they're going to take that leap to be inside the top 10.
Yep. I agree.
So, over to you. Who do you got at 10?
You're never going to believe this. I have the Pharaohs at 10.
Really?
Yeah. After my 11th try, we landed on the Pharaohs at number 10. So a lot of stuff like you said. Younger team, hungry team, good pickups defensively. They're going to improve, and they got John Ryan to pitch now. That's huge. Curtis King is a darn good pitcher. I will say Curtis King keeps them in games. He throws a lot of strikes. John Ryan's a really good pitcher as well. So to have two good pitchers there, I mean that's a game changer. To add Chris Rogers defensively, Sherman Martin is next best thing in my opinion. They've got a really good team. I'm excited.
Did they pick up Sam Bone too?
Who?
Sammy Bertucci.
Oh, Bertucci? I don't know.
I think he went with Johnny Ryan too, if I'm correct.
There you go. Then there's so JR and Sammy also. John Ryan went there.
Someone put it in the. John Ryan is
yeah, Johnny Ryan. Yeah, the pitcher I always mentioned. Yeah. Johnny Ryan. Yeah, and there you go. So yeah, just like we were saying, some good pickups defensively.
Sammy, John Ryan, JB, Rogers. So they've added
4 guys.
They've added some dudes.
Yeah, they're going to be good. They're going to be a good team. 10, because like you said, last year they would have been outside the top 15. Made it to Sunday at Major Nationals, lost to 45s, but very good team. It'll roll me right into number 9. I've got Moneyline at number 9. Okay. So Moneyline kept their core, kept Mandarino on the mound, added Robbie Grisano, Lane Neiman, a couple guys from that Players Inc. team like Lenny, very good infielder, good hitter. And then, they added Brian Gannick defensively as their shortstop, potentially him and Jason. We'll see who plays where. Nick Drabel still in the infield. And then kept Ricky Davis. Still have Marty Dozen. And then right field will probably be maybe Ryan Drabel or Matt Martin if he decides to play softball and give up the game of golf. But we will see how that Moneyline team does. I always have high hopes because on paper they're just very good.
Yeah, so my number 9 is Hex.
Okay.
I got Hex at number 9. I think that obviously this is a team that I'm very familiar with, as many of you know.
Are you?
I think. I mean,
you know those guys?
Yeah, losing Robbie offensively, and myself, I think is going to hurt them offensively a little bit. I talk to Richie all the time about this because Richie and I work together. We think that the moves they made, I think, is going to put them in a better position down the road for sure. Mm-hmm. The reason why I say that is commitment was one of the biggest issues on our team over the last couple of years. They picked up 5-6 guys that are now committed. Maybe the skill level of those 5 or 6 guys is not well respected yet in softball, but not saying they're bad players, just not saying that maybe they might not be major level players, but they're definitely committed, and Nick Crisano's, from what I've been told and from what I've seen, is going to help them offensively for sure. Right. So he is a major player. Yep. The other guys, I think they picked up a nice young center fielder out of the Berwyn League. He played with Kurt. Excuse me, I don't know his name. I've met him a couple times.
Brandon.
Yeah, he's a little lefty. Yeah, Brandon, and he's seemed to impress me defensively. Obviously, offensively usually comes with time, as we all know. So I mean, I really do. I think that they're going to be a team that's going to be anywhere from probably 5 to 10 throughout the whole year. If they can catch the ball, which has always been our Hex's MO. If they can catch the ball and make the routine play, I think they're going to be definitely in more games than we have in the last several years, just from being able to catch the ball. Richie tells me he feels they got better defensively. So if they got better defensively and they got worse offensively, the thing I say is that defense is what matters. And so, that was our MO. We could hit with anybody, but the problem is we couldn't pick the ball up, So I don't know. So that's where I'm at with Hex at number 9. Number 8 leads me into Moneyline, and I wanted to touch a little bit on what you said. I think Moneyline's going to be a team this year that I think what hurts them is they only play one league.
Yeah.
I think it hurts them. They also picked up a young outfielder from Meatball City as well. Yes. Ian is a
very good defensively.
Very good defensively. He can go get it. And so picking up Robbie offensively with the Brian Davis. I know they
Yep.
lose Bino, but losing Bino and picking up Robbie, is very similar player, right? Bino might be a little bit faster than Robbie, but Robbie could still hit, dude. And Robbie proved that last year when I played with him with Hex. He did
Yeah.
not prove that in Marshalltown, Iowa, since he won the C. But
Yeah.
and for
True.
those that don't know what the C is, that's the guy that makes the most outs in the weekend and has to pay the most money. So, but outside of that, I just want to throw that out there to Robbie because I know Robbie's a big fan of the show. But I think he's going to help Moneyline. I know Maddie told him he's going to pitch. I don't believe that. They're going to pitch Eric, and Robbie will get a game or two here and there. But their number one pitcher is going to be Eric. I think everyone knows that. And then
Eric's
the
top guy in the game.
and then the rest of the team is coming back, right? So, I know Eric. I think if you talk to Eric and he's honest with you, he struggled last year for them, and it could be from the lack of not not necessarily playing as many games as you can, So that's where we're at with Moneyline at number 8. So who do you got next, Donnie? Go ahead.
Number 8 for me is High Y. So you rank them a little bit higher than I did, or lower, depending how you look at that. You had them at 12. I have them at 8. Their outfield is still elite, fast, very, very good. Cha-Cha Jazz, and I believe Nano is coming on back to play with them this year, if I'm not mistaken. If he comes back, that's an elite outfield as good as anybody in the game. They're just going to have to keep up. They're going to have to keep it. They finished second at North-South last year, competed with 45s the whole way there, and it's a tough team to beat. Anytime you play High Y, high energy, they have good pitching, they can hit the top of their lineup, they cut, flip, they can do all that. Very good team, and they run the bases very aggressively, which makes guys nervous. And it'll be interesting to see how the villain fills in and plays. I know he's probably going to slide right into second base or short center. He'll be fine. They still have Trey. Trey provides a ton of pop with the bat and very good defensively at shortstop. I don't see a problem with that team. I think they probably regressed from last year with the guys they lost. I think last year I had them at like 5 or 6, and now they're 8 preseason. So we will see how they do.
So number 7 for me, I have BTA. And the reason why I have BTA, I got them high. I think it's a bounce back year for them. I think 2 years ago, I believe they won the Major National. They finished high in almost every tournament they played in that year. And I felt last year there was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of guys not committed, not showing up. I was talking with Wes, and I've had several talks with Wes. I mean, Wes is probably one of the best hitters in softball, as we all know. I just think BTA is going to be a team that bounces back this year. Okay. They could also be a team that falls out of the top 15, right?
Yep.
I mean, but in my opinion, I think they just have too many good players right now. Their speed, their everything that goes with them, and I at 7, could they even go higher? Absolutely. I could see them being in the top 4 sometimes in these tournaments, right? So, in my opinion, I just think it's 7 right now for the preseason. I think going in based on the year they had last year, I don't know many pickups, but knowing what was there last year, I think it's a bounce back year for them, and I think 7's the right spot at the moment. So
fair. I do have Hex at 7, so a little bit higher than you ranked Hex. I knew you had Hex at 9, and Richie Battistoni already texted us about it. I'm happy with you. I will put Hex at 7. They have a really good, committed group of guys now, like you said.
Yep.
Brian Sloan, absolute gamer on the mound, pays attention to every little detail, keeps Excel sheets of batting averages, loves the game, and he will try his darn hardest to make sure that team is going to be really good. So Casano is a stud in the outfield. Donnie Sullivan can play defensively as good as anybody. And Mikey Oliver can hit the ball well and play maybe right field for them. And they still got Kurt. You can't count out Kurt. Kurt's the baller, man. and he'll
Oh yeah.
probably lead off now. Kirk gets on base a lot when he does. Darn it, man, that's tough. And they still have Holstein when Holstein wants to go, and Al
Yep.
Rice when he plays in the Dome. He's the best softball player on the planet.
In the
So
Rosemont Dome, that is.
he's the best softball player on the planet when he's in the
Yeah.
Rosemont Dome. And I've texted
Yeah.
Richie Bettistoni 45 times about that. So I have them at 7. Number 6, I've got Iron. I've got 6 Iron.
Wow.
They are only getting better, and they are improving
Wow.
every single year.
You
CJ
have
keeps them.
5 spots higher than me. Wow.
I do.
All right.
I do. And you had BTA at 7. I have him at 15. Iron's only getting better. Danny Atkins, they are so committed. They play in every tournament. They play in every league. They'll play all over the place because Danny loves softball. Tyler is only getting better. Nate's only getting better. Picking up Marco was huge, and Spencer Stanek for depth, huge. They are one big bat away from being upper echelon team. One EH just as guy to swing and come in and hit.
Yep.
They're that guy away from being an upper echelon team. Billy Quirk, underrated, probably one of the best underrated softball players in the game. That's my 6. If you want to say your 6.
Yep. So my number 6, and I mean, is the best team in Iowa on paper, and that's Chuck's. So the reason why I have Chuck's at 6 is because I feel offensively they're better than every team below them. Right now, defensively they might not be, but I mean, you got to remember they were banged up last year and banged up a lot.
Yep.
And I know they won the first couple tournaments in Iowa, but I think overall Chuck's, with the group they got coming back, this is the second year of that merger. A lot of things kind of worked itself out last year. I don't know. I just got a feeling that Chuck's is going to be a team this year that is going to be a team to be reckoned with. And it's almost like they got something to prove. When I talked to a lot of those guys when we were out there for the Iowa Hall of Fame, a lot of those Chuck guys are kind of walking around a little bit with a chip on their shoulder. And I felt it. I don't know if you felt it.
You're right. 100%. I couldn't feel much except for a secondhand embarrassment being in a jumpsuit while everyone was in a shirt and tie. But other than that, I felt the energy. I felt the energy from that gang.
Dude, our jumpsuits were sick.
We looked nice.
And it was incredible. But Chuck's, and I think, as I said before, I think several other players are coming back from injury. They're going to be a full squad of 15, and you got to remember last year I think they got 3 or 4 guys hurt at the North-South.
Tournament.
In one tournament. So hopefully they stay healthy, and if they do, I think they're gonna cause some noise. And they do play in, I think, 4 of the 5 tournaments here in Chicago.
They play Midsummer,
Westchester.
Midsummer, North-South. Yeah, they play I don't think they do Westchester.
Yeah, they don't play Westchester. That's the only one they don't play out of the 5. They play major nationals. They play Forest Park, North-South, and Chicago.
We're still having some technical issues where it's showing somebody is watching on like 20 different devices. Enrique Munoz and my friend Q, you might know him as Q. It says he's watching on like 40 different devices right now at one time. So Q, if you are, appreciate you very much for the viewership. However, I don't think he owns that many electrical devices. Alex Hovey says new Iowa team this year. Watch out. There you go. They could creep into the top 15. Really quick, before we get into the top 5, I do want to mention, one sec, I just had it.
Let me get to Richie. Richie's causing havoc over here, huh?
Yep. There is a tournament coming on up at Harrison Park, the 2025 Los Barachos Softball Club Coats and Blankets Invitational. We've got kind of an A-B tournament going on, sponsored by Output. This is an SSA event for Los Barachos is running this 2025 LBSC Coats and Blankets Invitational. Interested in that? Go on and message my guy Steve-O Rodriguez. And I'll tell you what, next year, Steve-O Rodriguez's team will be in the top 15. That's all I'm saying. It's my hot take.
Yeah, I mean, they're that left fielder's a stud. And
he is very good.
They're a sneaky team for sure. I had to put this line up there because Joey Carb says with him, Holstein, and Al, Their
How
3,
good is
4,
that?
5 is going to be incredible. That is
Oh, that's this Saturday, by the way, that AB tournament
okay.
at
Nice.
Harris.
All right.
Oh, boy.
So let's get into the top 5. You want me? You want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right.
5, March. They picked up 4 or 5 new guys that are all potential starters. Jack Harrigan is a great pickup to start right away in the infield. And then they've kept a lot of the same guys. My guy Morris Greco is a ball player. We know that. They have a good team. If Jordan Dean is healthy, he's one of the best players in softball, the most athletic probably.
Yep.
If he's healthy, he is a force. And we will see how they do as a unit. I know that Tommy Lentine Sr. will pitch a little bit. Paulie Palkey will pitch a little bit. I think they're going to come out swinging this year. Jake McTeague, big pickup for them.
Yeah.
My guy Junior Villalobos picked up for them.
And they said
But yeah,
Big Nick.
Who's
Big
that?
Nick. I said the Big Nick who played for little first right field for them.
Nicky Burt.
Yep, the big lefty. He
Yep.
pounds the ball.
He does.
You know, that's my number 5, and that's March too. So I think we're spot on with that. March to me is a team that took that leap last year. We saw them a lot in the top 5 to 7 range last year. They physically owned BTA last year. I just think March is going to be a little bit better with their pickups and a lot of things that they did this offseason. It's going to give them more depth. I think that's the big key. When they're missing guys and they replace somebody, the guy they're replacing them with is just going to be just as good as the guy they're losing. So, and they need to have Morris Greco to have a year like he did last year. You know, every time I saw the kid, he was getting hits. He was playing hard. He was running all over the place. He stayed healthy. So, you know, that's a big key for them in left field. You know, I know Morris, he had his little bit of struggles offensively with Hex when we had him, but the kid's a gamer, and the kid is definitely somebody that you want on your side. And the year he had last year, from what I saw, he played tremendous. Offensively, he was all over the place. Defensively, he was catching balls all over the field. So if he can have a very similar year to what he had last year, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with this year, in my opinion.
Yep, they're going to be very good. They were good last year. Tommy Lentine Jr., Zach Solario, good players, role players, top of the lineup kind of guys. Excited to see how they do this year. Number 4. My number 4, you want to go first?
No, I'll go first.
Okay.
Number 4 is signature. So I think you guys are going to be a team that, I don't know if you got better defensively, but you're a team that's going to improve offensively, and adding your
Chad
short
Hook.
center, Chad Hook.
Chad Hook.
I lost train of thought there with his name, but adding Chad Hook offensively, the dude's a tremendous hitter. We all know that.
Yep.
He could still run. He could still play. I know he had his struggles last year defensively. I think he'd be the first to tell you that. So I think he might come back with you guys with this year with a little chip on his shoulder, maybe to want to improve what he's doing defensively, right? But offensively, I mean, he's going to help your lineup leaps and bounds from what it was. And he's going to give you guys depth offensively where he's might be batting 5 or 6 in your lineup, you know?
Yep.
So it's going to improve your team. And I don't believe you really picked up anyone else from that squad. So you're also bringing back the entire team from last year, which was kind of a new team last year. I felt you had 3-4 new pickups. So that makes you guys, and I know you guys are all like butt buddies. You all go work out together, and, you know,
we have good chemistry.
You and Spencer have a little crush on each other and don't want to tell anyone in softball.
I'll tell everybody.
Yeah, but
I love them.
But outside of that, I think you guys will be good. And so, you know, pitching wise, I think you and Q, you guys did a good job last year. I think you guys are only going to get better pitching on the mound, especially against higher quality teams. I know Q, up until last year, didn't really pitch much against the bigger teams. He would always pitch against the second games of doubleheaders and things like that. And I felt like last year you and him really did split a lot of time.
Yep.
So
He was a great guy that I lean on a lot. I mean, we 100%. We have a great relationship. When he's in there, I want him to do well. When I'm in there, he wants me to do well. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I have the 45s at number 4. So picking up Marola adds depth to multiple positions that he can play and can pitch when he has to. You still have Nate. That's good news. He's good. Mastari's only getting better. Second year playing major ball. That's insane. When Stacey shows up, what a lineup that you guys have. Kept keeping Danny Villarreal, Adam Haas in the infield. Oh yeah, they picked this guy up right here. They got this guy here to my left. But that's nice, man. I'm happy for you that you're a part of that team. And then still keeping Anthony and Chucky in the outfield, and then kind of see who's going to play right field. Billy Smith, great offensively. And then you've got Isidro, a nice pickup for you guys to keep that depth in the outfield.
Yep.
Chris Lentine still hanging around. Izzy, when he wants to pitch, is successful, and he always has been. That's a good team. That really is. And then I think one more guy, right? Scotty Vetter, if I'm not mistaken. You guys picked him up for this year?
That is correct. Yep. Scotty
So he
Vetter
could be a dark horse player, a guy that's coming back from a couple of years of retirement, right?
Yeah. A guy who played a lot of ball, at the major level in years past and took some time away with his kids and now is coming back. So he is definitely an elite major hitter. So he's going to be a huge add as well.
Yep, I'm with you. At number 3, I could have put him at 1. I could have put him at 2. I could have put him at 3. I wanted to put him at 1 because my heart's in it, but I put Signature at 3 because of the fact that we added Chad. The depth of the lineup is there. Some unbelievable hair in the infield with Matt Manizzi and Mark Manizzi and Danny Marson. I could talk for hours about this unit. I won't because I'll start to blush. But what a great group of guys that we have. Put off-season work in. A lot of guys improving.
Right.
I'll bank on a lot of what you said. I appreciate that. And our outfield is so young and so good. I think we're going to be really, really tough. And I don't want to say we're number 1 because that would sound arrogant, but we could be 100%.
No, you know what? When you get in the top 4, I think any 4 of these teams that we mentioned can bounce around from 1 to 4.
100% right. 100%.
You got to remember, this is just a preseason, right? So we're looking based on what we know, what we feel, and kind of how the teams look. So to your point, you guys had 3. I had you at 4. Very similar. I have Circus at 3. And I think Circus is probably the best team on paper. The reason why I have them at 3 is because, it is something that they just don't play enough. And I think the one league hurts them because they all have kids and they're all playing, when they're not playing, they're not playing. They're not playing park ball. They're not going out and playing.
Right. Most of the guys,
Most of the guys ain't doing that. And so I feel that's why every year I feel in the beginning of the year, I feel like they play a bunch of games and that team's always really good. And then towards the middle half of the year, they don't play as much. And then they're kind of rusty. So I know they won Forest Park a couple of years ago, but you got to remember the year they won Forest Park, they were playing a lot. They had a lot of games before the Forest Park tournament. I think they're the most talented team probably on paper, right?
Yeah.
But I think with them only playing one league, I think it hurts them. And I think that they're a team that you can easily put 1. They're a team that you can put 2. They're a team you can put, So I put them at 3, and I only put them at 3 because I think that they just don't play enough.
Okay.
And I also think, them not going to major nationals is not a great look for our major teams in Chicago, right? And they got commitments. It's nothing against them, right? I mean, they're doing their thing. They're traveling. They're, I totally understand. I totally get it. I just wish that they would want to play major nationals. We're trying to make major nationals a thing again. I felt like it's lost its luster.
Sure.
The last 10 years before I felt like last year, it finally felt like a major national. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that was because Resmondo was there, but I feel the
Yeah. Yeah.
last couple of years
Probably.
it's been getting better though. I feel the complex makes it better. That
Mm-hmm.
complex they picked in Joliet is tremendous. Give credit where it's good. I think it's definitely a great complex to hold a tournament. And so, with Resmondo coming next year, and I feel like it's becoming more of an event, and I think that's what we like in these days. So, I got Circus at 3.
Okay.
At 2, I got 45s at 2. To your point, I didn't want to put us 1 because I know you think you're 1 too. It's just the way we are as competitive nature. But on paper, I think to your point, a lot of things that you said, we have a lot of talented group of guys. We have a lot of experience. We picked up some good hitters. And I think offensively last year is where they kind of were lacking a little bit. And picking up some of the players that we picked up this year, I think we're going to help with that. I know Scotty Vitter, you mentioned the dude flat out hits.
He's good.
So he's going to be a guy in softball that I think people are he's going to open up some eyes a little bit, the way he swings the bat. He might be rusty to start the year, which is what definitely expected, right? Hasn't played, but he has been playing a little bit here and there in the Papa Hops and certain things like that. So the dude's a stud. And you mentioned Vince. Vince is a stone cold hitter.
Oh yeah.
I know you didn't.
What about Yaris?
You didn't mention Yares. I was going to say Yares is another guy that he's coming back, and if he comes back, and he's going to be committed, which when I told the 45s I was in, he was the first person that called me, and so he said he's 100% in, and gave me the Joey Yares speech, but we both know that Joey Yares is a hell of a player when he wants to be there.
Hell yeah.
So
it was almost unfortunate to not have him last year as much as he could be around. So
yeah,
with him coming back potentially when Vince Stacy's there. Vince Stacy, what a lineup you guys could put together. I have Circus at 2. I have Circus at 2 because
I want to say one more thing about 45s. Mastari, you mentioned Mastari, going to be his second year playing major ball. I think he's only going to get better. Last year with that team, I felt like he was a little on needles a little bit. Wasn't as comfortable maybe as he should have been. I think those jitters go away this year, and I think he's going to have potentially a breakout year for them.
He's a stud, and he's young, and he's darn good, and I hate him because I have to pitch to him, and I hate him because he's good. Spoiler alert, but I do have Circus at 2 because probably the best team on paper added arguably the best free agent and picking up Keenan to play shortstop for that team. That's stupid now. The depth that they have is tough to compete with. They've got 4 or 5 guys that can EH but also play positions. You're talking about Burke that can play first. Herdecki can play the infield. Dags can flat out hit. He's an EH. Alex Chavez can flat out hit as an EH. There's 4 guys that just swing for that team. And then defensively, they're darn good, man. And they've got a nice leader in John Doss. So that's going to be a really tough team in this season. If they stay healthy, if they can get guys committed. They do only play in one league, but maybe at the end of the day, it does help them because they do have some older guys that do have kids and commitment issues, whatnot. When it's tournament time, the guys are there. They're darn good.
Yeah.
So Circus at 2.
Yeah, no, Circus, I can't agree with you more. I had him at 3, and I only had him at 3 because I felt like they just don't play enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on paper, as you mentioned, probably the best team on paper.
Yeah.
And if they played all the time, I think they'd probably be the best team, right? So, but I have Flash at 1. So obviously Flashback at 1. I think both of us will have them at 1. They had the best year last year. It's hard to move them down when they had the coming off the best year. I know they lost Zoe. I think Zoe's going to be a bigger loss to that team than they expect. But they kept all their guys. They got Justin to come back for another year, MVP of Forest Park. They did pick up PJ Raines, who's going to add some depth there. So, yes, they lose Zoe, but they pick up PJ, got younger and faster.
And they got more hair. They got more hair because Zoe is bald.
Yeah, they got more hair. Well, Jibs likes hair, so hopefully Jibs
likes hair.
Yeah,
that's an all-time quote.
Yeah, but overall with Flash, we know they're good. I think they won a couple tournaments last year, finished second in major nationals, so they're definitely going to be right there. Obviously, their main thing is commitment. If they get all their guys there, they're a tough out.
Hell yeah, scary. To harp on that, Jim, I also have Flash, the two-time defending No Glove national champions.
Yes.
Beat 45s both times. Man's stone cold hitter, Anthony Stacy. I mean, you've got unbelievably talented infield, followed by the best outfield in softball.
Yeah.
Tough to beat, man. Ryan Russ is the emerging best left fielder in softball. I mean, to add PJ to play in the
outfield. Russ?
Hey, that's their backup pitcher now. He ain't got an excuse to not go in the game. He's not a runner anymore. Will Russ just ain't running anymore.
He's the cooler killer.
The cooler killer, William Russ. That's our guy. And then when Danny Dispenza's there, how stupid is that roster? So
yeah,
that's a consensus. Number one, I don't think many people would argue with those top four. After the top four, it gets debatable. So, man, that was fun.
There's a bunch of people in the chat that wants us to go down a recap of our top 15.
Jimmy, do yours. I'm going to grab a phone charger really quick. I'll be right back.
So we're just going to do a quick recap. Honorable mentions. I got Stover, 38s, Impact, and Dynasty. Our number 15 team, I got Fat Kids, 14 at Whale, Hall of Fame at 13, High Y at 12, Iron at 11, Pharaohs at 10, Hex at 9, Moneyline at 8, BTA at 7, Chucks at 6, March at 5, Signature at 4, Circus at 3, 45s at 2, and Flash at 1. Obviously, the two-time defending champs at 1 of No Glove Nationals. So, Donnie, why don't you give us your recap really quick?
I changed them all up when I was walking out. I thought about it. I changed everything. Okay. Signature 1, Signature 2 and 3. No. BTA 15. Who is Whale at 14. We had Hall of Fame at 13. We had Chucks at 12. Meatball City at 11. And then I had Pharaohs at 10. Moneyline at 9. High Y at 8.
Yep.
And then we had Hex at 7. 6 was Iron. 5 was March. 4 was 45s. 3 was Signature. Circus was 2. And Flash at 1.
And I do apologize. I forgot to say my 10B team. My 10B was Meatball City. So I had them on the same line with Pharaohs. I only said Pharaohs. I meant to say Meatball City at 10 as well. So those were the two that I had right there. I felt like I had to throw in an extra team just to be different. You know, that's what we love to do, Donnie, to be different. So I love Adam Cumby. He says, can we get a preseason top 15 broadcasters? So
may I really quick, before we get into the top 15 broadcasters, because Adam Cumby is top 2, and he ain't number 2. There were some honorable mentions in my list as well with Fat Kids, Dirty 38s, Impact, and Dynasty. All could be top 15 teams. I don't want to leave those guys out. And then I know my guy Steve Burke wants to hear Goodwood. You'll get there. Trust me. After this year, when you take that jump to major, we'll get there.
You know what I like about this year? I think that this softball year is probably the most major teams that we've had in major softball in some time.
Good point. Very good point.
You know what I mean? And the years past, I felt like we only had maybe 10 major teams. I truly feel that, like, the teams we're looking at, you know, Dynasty's a major team. You know, they're not an A team. Yeah, they've lost some great players, but they don't play A. They only play major. 30-38 is making that jump. You know, so, I mean, you've got
Fat Kids, Whale.
Meatball. I mean, you've got 18 quality major teams this year. Then you add in Stover and you add in Impact, 19 and 20. I mean, you're right there with the final 4 spots being open for those 8 teams for No Glove Nationals. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting year, my man. I'm excited. I don't know about you.
Me too. Me too. More than I ever have been in my whole life, honestly.
So,
yeah, that was fun. We appreciate all the comments and everybody chiming in. We have 85, almost 90 people watching right now live with us to talk about the top 15 teams in softball, which is really cool. So we appreciate you guys coming on in and joining us as always.
And a huge thank you to the Beacon Tap, Signature Transportation Group, and our new sponsor, Dad Water. If you haven't tried it,
I got to try one of those. I got to try it.
Yeah. So Dad
Water, huh?
being a huge sponsor for us, which is awesome. So Iowa.
Where can we buy
it? It says Sam Rogers just said Iowa will be adding 5 or 6 teams to our annual tournament.
Oh,
16 inches heading in the right direction. So that's what it's about, right? We're about promoting all, not only one, right? So hopefully we can, Donnie, I think our goal, and we're going to end the show with this. I think our goal this year is to somehow get the SSA to work with us. Not really all the SSA.
Big goal.
Mostly all the SSA guys work with us, including Tyler, right? So our goal is to somehow figure that out. And I don't think it's from a lack of us trying. You know what I'm saying by that? So
sure. I'm with
so I mean, that's not a bad thing to say, but it's the truth, right? So that would be our goal this year, and we'll see, and we'll continue to do our thing, and and hopefully down the road, we can, hopefully everyone can work together, which will be awesome. So we can't thank everyone enough for the continued support. I know, Donnie, I don't know, when we have a show, we field how many calls? It's insane, right? So we'll be on the phone all day tomorrow. Hey, so-and-so called me. This guy, this, that. I'll be hearing it.
He's pissed.
Yeah, he's pissed. He's this guy. He'll be hearing it from Richie. But I mean, unfortunately, Richie, the truth hurts, I guess, right? It is what it is. I don't know. So it's my opinion. So Frank says differences need to put to the side. That's 100%. Yes, we 100% agree.
100.
And it's just time to move forward, right? That's what the main thing is. I'm looking forward to the first tournament of the year, which is usually the Matty Dozen tournament, right? I know we have the Spring Fling, which is Dave Padilla, but that's more of a bunch of guys getting thrown together and having a good time, which Dave does we all like to give Dave shit, but at least it's not easy putting those tournaments together, as we all know.
He tries. He tries.
Definitely try to support Dave. The Wisconsin Dells tournament, May 10th. We have to get that out there to all the co-ed 14-inch teams. Please get out there May 10th. Support. Make your plans now. I know Clem Greco at Delton Oaks is giving away a ton of rooms, giving away a ton of stuff. So that's always a good opportunity for the women, the guys to get together and go out there to play. He'll run the tournament even if he gets 4 teams. They're going to do round robin.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and all sorts of stuff. So he wants teams to get out there and play the 14-inch co-ed, and I think it's an awesome thing. We also have Matty Dozen's tournament, which is, I believe, the weekend before, which is May 3rd, if I'm correct. That tournament is now moved to Oak Lawn. So it'll be in Oak Lawn.
You are correct.
For those that don't know, Oak Lawn redid their fields. So it's not like it was a couple years ago. Hopefully they maintain them a little better and they want a sandy, but either way, early in the year, it shouldn't be the case. Anything else, Donnie?
No, exciting to play in the Dome next week. The second half of the Dome tournament starts next week. Double headers every week, I believe. I think it's only 3 or 4 weeks, but you'll play 8 games in 4 weeks, which is nice. And then the championship game could be outdoor on the softball field outside the Dome in that little softball field. So that'll be cool to potentially play in that field if it happens. Still up in the air. But yeah, that was really fun, Jim, and I appreciate you. And as always, we thank you guys commenting.
And just, we got to end on this. People are asking me about hot dog reviews left and right. It's crazy. So we're going to get out. I promise you guys, my schedule has been crazy. It's not Donnie's fault. I had to cancel on Donnie today. It's my fault.
I did not expect you to admit that, Jim. If I had a bingo card for this show, I did not have that.
No.
On.
Well, I had to cancel today. We were planned to go to Super Dog. We have not been there yet.
Yep.
We've done what, 4 hot dog reviews right now. So we've done 3.
Yep.
Super Dog will be our 4th.
3.
We have a list that we're going to
Yep.
get out to, and we'll probably nail 2 or 3 in a week. So Donnie and I will be sick of hot dogs by the end of 1 week. But when I get back, Donnie, we're going to get after it next week, and we got to get our fans what they want, and that's the next hot dog review. So with that,
isn't that funny?
yeah, it's a crazy. But see, that's
people want us to eat hot dogs.
Yeah, I know. So that being said, thank you to Beacon Tap. Thank you to Signature Transportation Group and our new sponsor, Dad Water / Mom Water. So we definitely thank you. Donnie, it's always a pleasure, my man.
That's it, Jim.
I'll see you later, guys.
Thanks very much.
Peace.